Daniel here. I want to show you another aspect of the new TelemetryDeck web dashboard that I've been working on. And you've been seeing this in the last two videos a bit, but I want to go into this with a bit more detail. So what I want to talk about today is task-based queries, which is what I've been calling these. And basically it's this. We want to decouple displaying a chart, which is basically the result of a query to our data store. We want to decouple that from calculating the query. Why do we want to do that? Because sometimes these queries, they run really, really long. Sometimes for our larger customers or for very complicated queries, they can take 20 seconds to calculate. So it makes sense to show something, maybe show some old data while the new data is being generated. Because, for example, if I look at this daily active users charts for our example app here, all the data that is, even if this has been if this chart would be, let's say, 3, 4, 5 hours old, all the data that's before today is still valid and interesting, and it's way better to look at than a loading spinner, right? So even if you're recalculating this part at the end here, it's still a very cool idea to show the data while it's being updated. So what we did is basically I created an API for on the server that will okay, I need to take a step back. So let's think about tasks. A task is basically a piece of work in a queue that can be worked on, right? So we package our queries into these tasks and send them to the API. And the API says your task ID is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our user interface can query the API every now and then and ask questions like, hey, what's the status of my task with this ID? And if the status is still loading, it can display a little loading indicator. But what it can also do is it can ask for this task that maybe has run before, what's the last successful result? And the API, which has been caching those last successful results, can then immediately answer this. So for example, if I navigate away here and then navigate back, we can see that the charts are displayed immediately, even though we are still seeing loading spinners, because the charts that are being displayed are the ones that have been calculated previously, and they will be replaced by the most actual and newest data as soon as the newest data arrives. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna go somewhere, and here you actually see these waiting for data because we have nothing in the cache. And here you see a little bug that I just discovered, but the data is actually being cached, so it's here. But if we have the data, then we can immediately display it. And if we don't have the data, then we need to work on our caching maybe. But I think this is going to be cool, because what you can now do is you can very easily browse these charts and very, very quickly see all the important data and still get real-time data as soon as it's available, but you see the old data as well, and this is most of the time it's enough. Another thing is that we are now independent of HTTP timeouts, right? Because previously, when you would ask the API for the result of a query, the API would leave the HTTP connection open and then answer as soon as it had the answer back from the data store. But sometimes if your query takes a very long time to calculate, the system would actually time out the HTTP query and then just the HTTP request, and then the query data would just get lost because it had nowhere to go, which is kind of sad. And so let me show you an example where you can really see this, which is this chart. So this chart is a chart of all of the iOS versions over time. I'm going to make a Twitter thread about this in a few days, I think. For example, the really nice pink on the very right edge here, that's iOS 15.3.1, which has been gaining popularity and has been replacing iOS 15.3, which is the light pink one here, because that's the new security update. And it's really cool to see that people are really quick to jump on the security update. But what you can also see, while I've been talking, this thing has been recalculating, and it actually took 21 seconds to calculate. But the time from opening this view and actually seeing data was way less than 21 seconds because I've been seeing the previously calculated result all the time. Now, this doesn't actually change because it's set to only display the data from yesterday backwards and not from today, so it will never change. But still, I can now look at this and actually trigger a recalculation, and it will recalculate, but it will also show me the data, which is really cool. All right, let me know what you think. I think this has been very fun to work on, and I can't wait to release this. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, and peace, love, privacy. Bye.